Hi everybody, I'm Sasha, an English teacher and methodologist. Now I help other people reach their language goals, but let's go back to the times when English was just my dream that seemed almost impossible. Well, I was in my teens when I saw a live performance by the English band Depeche Mode. They blew my mind and I fell in love with the front singer. So my dream was to understand all their lyrics. And step by step, my English was improving in terms of vocabulary from the lyrics. And I started getting good marks at school, which I found to be a really cool bonus. And as I never was an excellent student, it seemed to be so cool to be rewarded for something I truly loved. Then it was time to choose the university to enter, and I chose a linguistic one, of course. Then I started reading a lot of books, very soon in the original, and then I realized that I had a very, very big dream to go to the United States of America. It seemed unreal. But as a student, I had a chance to take part in the work and travel program, and it was last year I could apply for it since there were some age limits and so on. So I had very little money and no experience in traveling abroad. My English was still very poor and passive, and I could hardly speak. Anyway, every night before falling asleep, I imagined myself there in the noisy streets of New York, and then sitting somewhere by the ocean and speaking English all day long, working there, living there. For half a year at least, and then maybe staying there. This dream just captivated me, and I don't know, it seemed to be so important. And since I couldn't pay for the agency assistants to help me with finding accommodation and a job, well, being a risky person, I asked for some help from a girl on one social media platform. I came across her in one of the related discussions. I paid her some money and she promised to help. Don't ask me what kind of help it was because I had no idea what it was and how she was going to help me, but she was my only hope. By the way, we'd applied for the program together with a friend of mine. And she was the first who had the interview with the consular officer. And she was refused. So they said no to my friend. And I was 100% sure it was because of our documents, because of that girl. And since I had very similar papers, there was no hope left for me to be approved. So I got so upset and decided not to even have this interview. I didn't want to get a negative answer. It would be very, very painful. But my mom said, you should go, at least to speak to a native, just for practicing. Yep, now we have plenty of opportunities for practicing online, but guys, it was 2009 or something, times of dinosaurs. So going there was one of the very few opportunities for me to have a conversation with a native. So I went to be interviewed, and I remember somebody recommended you have to be smiling and friendly. It's very important since for Americans, it's a matter of politeness and it might influence their decision. But I was so poker-faced and unfriendly there, to be honest. I was ready for that negative answer, and I thought, how can you be smiling if you're gonna say no? So I'm not gonna smile back at you. So I was really angry and expecting the worst. Having asked me some questions, he finally said, have fun in the US. Sorry? I asked. He repeated himself slowly. Have fun in the United States of America. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. Am I going to the States? But wait, I'm going alone without my friend. And I have very little money. My English is so poor. And that's my first trip anywhere. And it's right away to the United States. Well, perfect. I'm going. In a week, I was already there in the streets of New York, alone. At least it felt this way. And since I was a very inexperienced traveler, I had no bookings, no reservations, and no idea where to sleep that night. I had only $400 on me, and I thought I was the king of the universe, until I learned it was enough only to stay one night in New York. It was very little money for New York. So that was me, standing there in the middle of New York City, having no idea where to go, what to do. And then I heard a voice. Do you need some help? The first thing I saw was his shoes. Absolutely white sneakers. He had kind of a trolley or something full of American flags sticking out of it. He was a homeless vagabond looking so happy. Well, I do need help, I replied. And that is the end of the first episode. I will tell you next time how I spent this night in New York and who helped me survive. To make this listening more practical, go to check the script. I've added Russian translation there, as well as the vocabulary list and some exercises. So learn the vocabulary, do the exercises, and be ready for the next episode.